Hey, I'm Thilo and I'm from the Thomann Synth channel and I'm here with Mr. 8-Bit Keys, David. How are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
So what we want to do today is compare something really expensive to something really cheap. For the really expensive part we have this Yamaha Genos. And for the really cheap part, we have the Casio Sa 47. We're trying to compare some sounds. Let's start with the piano because we're just at it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, I
yeah.
must say they are getting closer. I'm
Well,
embarrassed to say.
they're both probably samples, so
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they're gonna sound fairly realistic, but the sound is not the end all be all. You
Yeah.
obviously this is much more difficult to play.
Yeah. It is.
And I should just point out there's this thing called key velocity. I think maybe a lot of newcomers aren't aware of that, but
Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
how hard you hit the key is you're going to get a different sound. Where this one, no matter how hard you hit the key, it's exactly the same, no matter
Yeah.
what. There's
So,
no expression here.
Right. So there's stuff you can't play on this one that you can easily play here. Dynamics in it. You know this thing better than me, so why don't we go for some string sounds? There's more brightness in here,
Yeah.
but still again quite recognizable. I know there's a whole lot of difference, and it is
Yeah.
by far a fair comparison what we're doing here.
Of course, what's interesting, if you go back 20 years ago and you took a keyboard in this price range and a keyboard in this price range, the sound difference would be dramatically different.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is interesting that the cheap ones can now produce sound that is reasonably realistic.
A lot has happened in the last 20 years in the synth section, and I'm quite amused that if you play those sounds one on one from a kind of consumer standpoint, so to speak, there is a difference, yes, but it's not so much, not such a huge difference than I thought it would.
Well, the one thing you haven't told us
Yes,
is
is
what's the price of this keyboard and what's the price of this one?
well, the price of this keyboard. We're talking about the Genos Yamaha. We are some like 4Ks. And this one is actually about a 100 times cheaper than this one. So that's what we're talking about. And now it is for you to decide if
Does
this
it
is
sound 100 times better?
yeah. Or does this sound 100 times worse than this? I don't know. You can make music with both of them, but yeah, you just have to get to be inspired. And if you want to start making music, why not buying such a thing? And well, you get really quickly will get a notion: is this a thing for me, or isn't? And then you can work your way up to. Which is about 5 times the price of that one. It's about 120 euros or something like that. And then finally you arrive at the big spaceship, if you like.
People ask me a lot. I get a lot of emails. Hey, David, what keyboard should I get to learn to play keyboard on, right? In fact, a lot of times they're asking me what vintage keyboard they should get. And I usually steer people away from vintage keyboards, mostly because I say the vintage keyboards are actually harder to make good music on than a modern cheap keyboard, right? So that's I usually steer people something towards like what you just showed, the little, what was that, star tone or
This
something
was
like that?
Star Tone,
But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, usually something like this in this price range, that's usually what I recommend people go with as if they want to learn to play.
Okay.
You know, I mean, this is good for, like a 10-year-old or something like that. But I mean, if you seriously want to learn to play, you probably ought to spend just a little bit more. Go with something like that because you're going to have a more range of notes. I mean, this is okay for playing around with, but the problem is there aren't enough keys on the keyboard, and if you try to start learning to play pieces of music, you're going to quickly realize you don't have enough keys. Now, this one has probably more keys than you need. But, 5 octaves is usually what I say is a good, at least 4, but 5 octaves is usually a good. That one should have 5.
5, yeah.
I think
It's
this
a
one has
5-0.
6.
Yeah.
But there's more to the cost of them than just how they sound. And I think when you go back 20 years ago, the price made a big difference in the way they sound. But now a lot of it's just to do with the construction. I mean, you're getting a lot more. This is a much more sturdily built keyboard. It can take. I'm sure if you were to put this on a stage and playing it, the mechanism is going to be able to take a lot more beating than that one.
Yeah.
and I mean, of course, this one probably has more features than anyone ever needs, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
I guess it's a complete production studio.
yeah,
You can make whole tracks with anything, and that's also the reason because why it's so expensive, because you can do anything with it. Well, David, thank you for your time, and it was nice having you here. And thank you.
all right, you're welcome.
Okay, bye for now.